Ladies and gentlemen, we are live with another edition of the NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005 video game. It is the Winn-Dixie 250 at the Daytona International Speedway. Our second trip back to Daytona on this NASCAR Busch Series season, and it's the first trip back to a second racetrack, or the first track that we're racing at the second time. I worded that very weird the first time. Anyway, this is going to be a lot of fun here today. Kevin Harvick qualified on the pole. Little doubleheader action on the channel as well. We're going to run this NASCAR Busch Series race right now, and then in a few hours, probably a couple hours after this race, we'll end up running our Sonoma NASCAR Heat 5 career mode race there for our final season of NASCAR Heat 5. Like, share, and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. Glad to see you guys here on a Wednesday afternoon. Early on, greatly appreciated as always. 100 laps, 250 miles around the famed Daytona International Speedway under the lights is coming right now. Kevin Harvick once again on the pole. 121 car will be starting outside pole. Green flag in the air. Harvick will lead the field to the green. Remember, Harvick had a very, very poor finish in the season opener at Daytona, looking for redemption here. Very close championship battle within the top three. If he can get 5 bonus points for leading lap 1, that would be an awesome start for him. Three by three. Off of turn 4 on the opening lap, it is Lance Brantley in the 109 car who tries to get to the lead on the high side. But at the start-finish line, Harvick pulls him back, and Harvick will lead lap 1 in the Winn-Dixie 250. Brantley still there. Harvick trying to hold his line on the inside. Cannot clear the 109 car again. Brantley trying to get the run off the banking on the outside lane. Harvick again trying to block the bottom. And we have a race early on right here down the back straightaway. Gonna pause it for one quick second. I need to get the chat up in case there is anybody in the chat. Sorry for that. And good thing we didn't wreck going into turn 3. Harvick gets the pull down low. He pulls up and he blocks Lance Brantley to lead lap 2 at the start-finish line off of turn 4. Trying to control the lanes. It's a lot harder to do in this game than in NASCAR Heat 5. Cars have more downforce, of course, on the super speedways with the current rules package as well, so that's going to help. Plus, remember, this is an older, bumpier Daytona surface as well. A lot of Cup Series regulars in this one. Obviously, you see Harvick leading the first couple laps of the race. Here comes Kyle Busch in the mix, who's fighting for the championship. And Dwayne Borland on the outside in the 135 trying to get the pole. Harvick going to side draft Borland down the back straightaway. He'll try to pull away into turn 3. We'll see if Borland can get him back. No, he will not. Kyle Busch to the inside of Borland for second, following the inside line of Kevin Harvick, hooked on that yellow line in the middle of turns 3 and 4. Lap 3. Dale Jr. in the mix. We know how good he is at Daytona. He's 3 wide middle right now, and these guys are going 3 by 3 through most of the pack. Very treacherous on a bumpier Daytona surface. There is not a lot of grip here. Borland again, up high with a run. Really trying to side draft the right rear corner panel of Harvick's car, so he'll kind of pull down low. Harvick trying to block all the way down the back straightaway. J.J. Yaley up the middle, 3 wide for second between Borland and Kyle Busch. These guys are racing pretty aggressively in the middle of the pack here for being the opening couple laps. Oh, slight bit of contact between the 21 and the 5. That stalled out the run of Kyle Busch on the outside, and Harvick leads another lap. How was Harvick held on to the lead for these first 4 laps as they go 3 by 3 behind him? All it takes is one tiny slip up, and now J.J. Yaley gets pinched into the wall. That's going to stack a lot of cars up down the back straightaway now as Harvick holds on to the lead. That was not what he had planned. And only about 4 cars were able to evade and pull away from the rest of the field. One of which, Dale Jr. on the outside, who's trying to take his first lead early on in the race. That was probably the worst block I think I've ever thrown. Oh my gosh. Poor J.J. Yaley. There are obviously not a lot of cars in this lead pack. And if they keep changing positions, it's only going to allow that second group to close in. Oh, car on the wall off turn 2. Whoever Jr. just passed for second place. That driver got into the outside wall. Now the third place car gets around him. Jr. in hot pursuit of the race lead. Remember, Dale Jr. dominated the Busch Series race in the season opener at Daytona, but he did not get the victory. He ended up finishing second to Kenny Wallace, who stole the win away late. Stay caution free in the first 6 laps. I'm sure everybody from 4th on back is still racing very aggressively. Michael Turner, welcome to the stream, by the way. Yeah, so usually I work on Wednesdays. And I should say I did work today, but I actually got off at noon. It's been slow at our work. I actually got off of work early yesterday, which is why we even ran the Daytona 500 on the NASCAR Heat 5 career mode. Got home at 2:30. And today I got off of work at noon, so pretty slow. Dwayne Borland to the lead, being drafted by Dale Earnhardt Jr. Harvick trying to keep touch with Dale Jr. now through the tri-oval, and Borland will lead his first lap of the race. And as the first lap, Kevin Harvick has not led. Might be a 3-car breakaway here. Harvick wants to stay in the top part of the field and keep track position as much as he can today. He feels that will be his best opportunity to get the win. Down the back straightaway, he's trying to get a little bit of a run right now. Looks low underneath Dale Jr. Oh my goodness, what a move! No double yellow line rule. Usually the apron doesn't stick like that either. Well, Harvick came in with a head of steam. Borland still leads on the outside lane. Dale Jr. up there, but he is choosing to draft with Borland rather than Harvick. Borland going to try to pull down and block now into the corner and does. Schneider has cleared Dale Jr. now for second off of turn 2. Borland's getting way out there. Harvick's going to get a pretty good pull. And he looks low. Borland with a block. A little bump draft from the back of the 21. Borland with a block. Harvick underneath him now in the tri-oval. Borland trying to pinch him down to the yellow line into turn 1. Side by side, what lane will Dale Jr. go with? It looks like he's going to draft with Harvick. Borland getting a pretty good run on the outside lane, though. And Dwayne Borland clear off turn 2 again. Harvick with another massive run. He's going to go to the high side. He slipped up into the corner. Barely keeps it off the wall in the center. Back down in front of Dale Jr., though. Borland's got a pretty strong car. These might be the 3 fastest cars at the front of the field, too. Whoever's in 4th place definitely lost these guys. Already trying to share draft off Borland. It's close enough now. I think he's going to get a nice little run down the back straightaway as he pulls down low. No chance for Borland to block that time. Harvick clear into turn 3. 21 car back in the lead. In the first 6 laps, Borland led from lap 7 through 10. Harvick will lead at lap 11. Oh, Borland in the wall off of turn 4. Opens the gap up for Dale Jr. now to get to second place. Jr. still looking for his first lead of the day. Be interesting to see if this is going to be a 1 or a 2 pit stop race today as well. Remember, our first race at Daytona this year was 120 laps. This one is 100. Jr. on the outside for the lead. Borland trying to draft with Harvick down low. Now Borland goes high, in line behind Dale Jr. Back to the inside into the corner. Borland not sure what lane he wants to take. Harvick trying to side draft Jr. up the racetrack in 1 and 2. Jr. clear off turn 4, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. will take his first lead of the day at Daytona. Crowd, I'm sure, going crazy. Even in the Busch Series. They love Dale Jr. Look how low Harvick is into turn 1. Dale Jr. really pinched him down. No contact between the two drivers. Harvick lifted into 1 so he can make the corner. Because as low as he was not going to make it in there without making contact with Dale Jr., and he didn't want that. Jr. getting way out ahead, though. Harvick clinging on in the draft, and with Borland behind him, Harvick should get a pretty decent-sized run to Dale Jr. By the way, the rest of the field is slowly closing in on the top 3 as we expected. They fell about 4 seconds back, so it was going to take them a little bit. Harvick drafted with Dale Jr. Just led the last couple laps. Harvick with a run down the back straightaway. There he goes underneath Jr. again. Half a car on the yellow line. Jr. trying to pinch and side draft Harvick into turn 3. Harvick all the way down low. Oh, and he cleared him. He stayed in the gas that time. He didn't lift, but he was committed, and he made the pass. Couple lead changes already. Drivers are, again, racing aggressively here early on. How long will that last before we see our first caution of the day? Borland trying to make a move on Dale Jr. Just almost bump drafted him off of turn 2. Doesn't work as well with the Gen 4 cars. I will say that, especially in the middle of the corner. You definitely don't want to hit anybody in the middle of the corner. Down the back straightaway here is about the only place you can bump draft. And there you see, out of Harvick's rear view, the field closing in. Borland to the inside of Kevin Harvick. Harvick now has to hold the top. He's got Jr. behind him. Jr. down to the inside now behind Borland. Dwayne Borland leads that lap at the line. Harvick with a slight mistake. Borland up high. Allows for Harvick to draft to stay in front of Dale Jr. That mistake definitely costed Harvick the lead. He's at least staying alongside with Borland, but he lost complete momentum when he made a little bit of a scrape with the outside wall. But into turn 3 again. Harvick slingshots. It seems like down the back straightaway, if you can get a good run in the draft, slingshot your way into turn 3 is the way to go. Boy, that was a very risky block. Borland got into the wall off 4. Harvick barely cleared him, and now Junior's back to second place, getting around Borland once again. And Junior's got the run in the tri-oval. Harvick leads at the line, but it is Junior to the lead into turn 1. A lot of excitement early on. Harvick again, a big pull in the draft. Junior left a lot of bottom open into turn 3, and Harvick slingshots him back. Harvick moves up the block. Field's a little more strung out now all of a sudden towards the front, outside of the top 3 that were already strung out. There's that next lead change with Harvick leading the lap. Borland trying to get the run down low. Harvick holding on. It does seem like Harvick's car's got a lot more grip than what it had in the first race at Daytona this season. I think a lot of it has to do with it being under the lights and at night. The track temps are a lot cooler. Still bumpy and ill-handling kind of a racetrack. Matt Kenseth in the mix, and he's trying to squeeze now behind Dale Jr. He drafted heavily behind the 21 of Harvick, who has about a half a car less than that now ahead of Dwayne Borland. Borland will lead off of turn 4, and Borland is clear. Harvick will file in line behind him. It is now a 5-car pack at the front. Ethan, welcome to the stream. Halfway on fuel lap 19, so that is already telling me it is, at least for Harvick, going to be a 2-stop race today. And I don't think anybody can make up an extra 20 laps of fuel to make it a 1-stop race anyway. So 2 pit-stop race is what we have scheduled for tonight. Dwayne Borland leads again here at Daytona. Kevin Harvick in second. Borland shuts the door in the tri-oval. Top 2 kind of slipping away a little bit. Harvick looking to the outside. Borland with a block. Harvick going to try the bottom. A little crossover down the back straightaway. That time we'll get around Dwayne Borland. And that was without any drafting help from behind that time either. Dale Jr. was starting to slip back, but look at Jr. starting to get a big pull now. Well, these top 2 didn't stay single file anymore. Jr.'s right back in it off turn 4 to the outside of Dwayne Borland for second. Matt Kenseth behind Jr. Borland up the track trying to side draft the 8. Can't tell who that 5th car is right now. Looks like it might be Kyle Busch, but I'm not entirely sure. And here comes Dale Jr. with a bit of a run. Should have picked Darlington for the... I already did it last season. And I thought Talladega with the Xfinity Series worked out perfectly. So let's try it for the Cup. Dale Jr. again. On the high side. Sending it off into turn 1 is Harvick. Jr. lost a little bit of momentum up high. A couple more cars starting to slowly close in. Wow, where did that push come from Dale Jr.? Harvick will stop the momentum, though, by hopping in front of Matt Kenseth. Another launch into turn 3. Jr. with a block. Already almost a quarter of the way through the race. Harvick with another run in the tri-oval. Looks low. Oh man, he's almost down to the grass. Oh, he might have clipped the 8. And around goes Harvick. Oh, hard into the wall. Everybody misses him. Everybody missed him. Harvick loses control into turn 1. I accidentally spammed through the replay. And Harvick's going to have to pit. Heavy damage to the 21. Very fortunate everybody missed him. And was able to escape to the inside. Way too low of an entry into turn 1. The car slipped up the racetrack. Left front into the wall first. And he's going to have to go to the back. All the track position lost just like that. And that is not what he wanted. Track position a lot harder to come by in this style of restrictor plate racing at Daytona and Talladega with these Gen 4 cars. So it is going to take a lot for Harvick to try to get back through the field. This is very unfortunate for him. He's probably going to... Nobody else pitted there. Everybody stayed out. And they're pulling Harvick off of turn 2, and this is not good for Kevin Harvick. He might lose the draft. I think that 21 car is banged up pretty good. He tried to repair as much damage as he could. We'll see, though. Everybody bunched back together for another restart. I'm sure they're 2 and 3 wide most of the way through the pack. And with Harvick's mistake there, trying to slingshot ahead of Dale Jr., it is now Dale Jr. who leads this race. And that had huge championship implications on it for Kevin Harvick. A little too aggressive going for the lead early. And it was all on his own. That's the worst thing about it. He slipped up on his own. Never had contact from anybody else. Just lost the car. Billy Kramer, welcome to the stream. Harvick, nobody to draft with on this restart. Louise, welcome to the stream as well. 2:27 a.m. at your place is still watching. Thanks, I greatly appreciate it. That is awesome. Kudos to you for staying up late. Doubleheader here today. Again, the NASCAR Heat 5 career mode will be at Sonoma for the second race of the season later tonight. Got home from work very early today. They were very slow, let people out early, and I got off at noon, so here we are. It's like, you know what? Daytona's the next Busch race. Let's run it. Harvick was battling with Dale Jr., Matt Kenseth, Dwayne Borland, and Kyle Busch were all up there trading the lead back and forth, especially Jr., Borland, and Harvick. And at lap 24, Harvick tried to pass Jr. into turn 1. He got too much of the apron. Car whipped around and hard into the wall when Kevin Harvick driver's side door first. Everybody did miss him to the inside, thankfully. Harvick is not DNF this season, and if he would have taken a big lick in there while spinning or, backing down the bank into the racetrack, that would have ended a lot worse and likely could have been his first DNF. At least he's still in the race. 70 laps to go, still time to get back into this. Still 2 pit stops to the end of the race as well. And he's likely going to have to go fuel only when the pit window opens for him to try and gain a ton of time here. He's about 9 seconds off the lead and fading without the draft. And we're probably going to be seeing green flag pit stops in 10 or less laps. So don't click away from this channel because these pit stops are going to shake it up. Harvick just needs some drafting help. If he can get somebody behind him or even latch on to somebody in front of him, it's going to be harder with the damage, but we'll see. We know how powerful that share draft is with the NASCAR EA Sports video games. It's what led to that 5-car breakaway. Yeah, almost to 1,000 subs, man. Waited what feels like forever for it. We are very close. So for anybody new watching, like, share, subscribe if you haven't already. We have fun on this channel every day with NASCAR related content. Realistic commentary. More often than not. Soon as Kevin Harvick starts to see drivers hit pit road, he is going to pit with them. See, with the pack bunched together like this, it is going to be a lot harder for everybody to get to pit road as well. I don't think the cautions are done yet today either, knowing it is Daytona. We're still in the first half of the race. 3 more golf league matches, including tonight. Hey, good luck to you, Billy. Harvick's definitely going to be late braking coming to pit road, that's for sure. He is going to try to gain as much time as he can. Pit road speed limit is 70 miles an hour. 12.3 off the lead, but those pit stops are not coming soon enough for Harvick. He's losing so much time. You can at least see the back of the field still, so taking fuel only should be able to cycle past enough cars. If I had to guess, I wouldn't be surprised if he broke the top 30. How spaced apart is everybody going to be after the pit stops as well? Will we get a caution in the middle of green flag stops? And here we go. There's the word that we are going to have our first drivers coming into the pits this time. Green flag pit stops are starting. Harvick very late to the braking. Can he back it down without locking the tires up onto pit road? Perfect job there. He didn't want to take tires, so he couldn't risk locking them up. He will not lock them up. Full tank of fuel. No adjustments to the race car. They'll repair just a tad bit more damage. It should be about a 7-second pit stop as long as there's no mistakes. I don't know. I didn't call for that wedge adjustment, but look at the fast stop. There's Kenseth. He was up there with the leaders. There's Borland. He was there too. What a very good stop. Hopefully they got all the fuel in it. Harvick trying to draft now with Dwayne Borland as he gets up to speed at Daytona. See if he can stick with him. He's had a problem getting up to speed with this damage. That's what cost him on the restart. But I know it was fuel only, but I don't think Harvick was expecting to get that much time on pit road, being 12 seconds off the race lead. Problem is he couldn't stick with Borland. Gonna need somebody behind him too to be able to stay in the draft. But man, what a comeback and a possible spin and win here for Harvick. Dale Jr. still on the racetrack, logging in more laps led. More cars going to be coming out of the pits. The good thing is, though, is he's still on the lead lap. Which means if we get a caution, he's going to cycle even further through the field. He's going to have a lot more cars behind him still. There's one more car up here. If he can get with him, that'd be huge for Harvick. It's Billy Parker in the 86 car, trying to get up to speed. Harvick trying to latch on. He's got a big group of cars coming up behind him. When will Dale Jr. pit? I don't think anybody can go longer than 40 laps on fuel. That's kind of the limit here. Earl Arnold Jr., welcome to the stream. Who knows? NASCAR Busch Series history. What, a spin and win for Harvick? Just won our Daytona 500 last night on the channel for the NASCAR Heat 5 career mode. The problem is, we mentioned a couple times already, this is a bumpier Daytona surface, so taking no tires for Harvick is a risk because grip is going to matter. He's got Kenny Wallace behind him now, so there's some drafting help. He's going to have about 3 or 4 cars coming, 4 cars it looks like, coming out of the pits ahead of him. Get hard for Menard, everybody. Paul Menard in the mix. Greg Biffle. J.J. Yaley and Casey Atwood is his 4-car group. And that is the drafting help Harvick needs. He's got cars in front of him. He's got cars behind him. He's got cars coming out of the pits still. Got to be careful. Really trusting everybody in front of him. It looks like Harvick trying to make a move on Greg Biffle for position. And he will. Bobby Hamilton Jr. coming out of the pits. Oh, look out, Menard! Oh, no, they're wrecking. Menard goes through the grass. Bobby Hamilton Jr. just about spun as well. Menard about clobbered the back of the 25. He checked up, and Harvick ended up clobbering him. Heavy damage to the front of the 21. How did they not wreck there? That had disaster written all over it. We do have a slow car down the back straightaway. It might be either Menard or Bobby Hamilton Jr. And how do I turn my rearview mirror back on? I don't know how that turned off. I must have pressed a random button. Does anybody know how to turn the rearview mirror back on? PS2 NASCAR Thunder, or not NASCAR Thunder, PS2 NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005. I'm not even like trying to block right now because I have no clue where anybody's at. This is a dangerous situation here. I'm just always used to the rearview mirror being on. You have to double click something? Ugh. I don't know what button I hit. Is it select? Oh, that was not select. I have zero clue what button I hit. I was trying to save the car, and then my right hand, like, obviously when I got out of the gas, I must have clicked another button. Oh, yeah, you're right. I know what race you're talking about there, Earl. Alistair Moore, welcome to the stream, by the way, as well. There's Blue Casimir in the 138 car. Gonna try to pass Harvick. Kenny Wallace there's. Oh, Harvick did not want to get into him. Oh, and they almost wrecked again. Castleberry's in the wall, and now he cuts down in front of Menard, and we got another caution. I don't have the rear view, so I didn't know that Menard was there. Harvick could have been junked right there. Luckily, he spun through the grass. I need to pause it and Google search how to turn the rearview mirror back on because that was the only reason we had an accident right there. Now Harvick's going to have to pit again, it looks like. More damage. How do I turn on the rearview mirror on NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005? That doesn't do anything for me. What are the controls? Gosh darn it. I need to pause it. I need to figure this out because I'm not running Daytona without a rearview mirror. Because that's the only reason we had a wreck there. I didn't realize Paul Menard was there because I couldn't see out of the rear view because there was no rear view mirror. Okay, fine. NASCAR 05 controls. I need help down in the chat. I need your help. How do I turn the rear view mirror back on? I thought it was just automatically there, but... Oh, I didn't even... I forgot there's a settings option. I am dumb. I completely forgot there's a settings option. I'm used to NASCAR Heat 5. We don't have this anymore. Mirror L3. I must have... Okay, that explains it. We're good. There we go. Alright, Harvick needs to get in front of somebody or he's going to lose the draft on the restart again. Well, he's going to get around the 152. One pit stop left to the end of the race. Harvick going to need some sort of drafting help here. He's got a long ways to go to get through the field again. He did a great job getting back into the top 15 before the caution. Then we had another yellow that put him behind the 8 ball. It just, I mean, with the damage, this car takes so long to get back up to speed again. Good news is, again, the 152 car is behind him. Sebastian Smith, welcome to the stream. NASCAR Busch Series, indeed. Oh, there's a checkup off turn 4. Big checkup by the rest of the field. Something happened there, and look at Harvick. He's shot out of a cannon. He's 3 wide on the tri-oval with nowhere to go. Look at the moves. He might not have to draft anybody. Oh, they're checking up again into turn 1. The 117 got blocked. Somehow Harvick makes it through. What happened there? Oh, they're checking up again off turn 2. What is going on? I think there's somebody slow that has damage from that last accident that's just holding everybody up because Harvick is not drafting anybody hardly, and he's making a ton of moves. Is it David Green? Maybe it's, oh, is that car on the outside? I don't know who that is. It was that car on the outside, though. They're stacking everybody up. That gives Harvick even more drafting help, and he moves through almost half the field already up to 27th. And of all drivers that are in front of him, he's got teammate Ron Hornaday in the 2. RCR teammates. The 2nd and 4th place drivers in the point standings. Harvick 2nd, Hornaday 4th coming in, but Harvick can't keep up with him. He had a lot of damage before, and then after that last accident, unfortunately, he's got a lot more damage. He's going to have to let Lance Brantley, the 109 car, go on the outside of him. Matt Kenseth, by the way, does lead this race, excuse me. Got to tap out. Yeah, go. Hey, man, you're up late. I appreciate you staying, though. Wow, how about that? The 152 car literally followed Harvick all the way through the field. My goodness, can't hold a straight line. Problem is Harvick has no help. Everybody's just training around him. Brantley going to move down the lane. Harvick trying to share draft. This car's killed. Who knows? Maybe we get a couple more cautions. By the way, that race, Earl, I believe it was it the Talladega race where there was only like 7 cars left or something on the lead lap after that massive wreck on like lap 15 or whatever it was? 2002 or 2005? I don't know what year it was. It was the Aaron's 312. I just don't remember what year it was. I think that might have been the same race. I bet mine is bigger than yours. Welcome to the stream, man. Ashton G, welcome as well. Oh, it was that race? Okay. Is it oh, man! 119 car hard into the wall off turn 2. 117 going to get underneath Lance Brantley. Harvick's willing to draft with him on the bottom lane. Now Harvick's got to stay with him, and let's see how much Harvick can cut into this deficit. See, the problem is, I don't know if Harvick's tires are going to make it to the end of the race. Now, the 109 of Lance Brantley gets into the outside wall off turn 4. Everybody's getting in the wall. Lap 50, 2 cautions in the first half of the Winn-Dixie 250 at Daytona. Cars One Boy, welcome to the stream. A lot of you guys tuning in. We're an early afternoon race. All of our doubleheader Wednesday of action. Yeah, early to mid 2000s. I know it was somewhere around there, but yeah, I thought it was that race. And that like 20 plus car accident. Johnny Sauter flipped in front of the field. We know Ron Hornaday's got to have a very quick race car. I mean, Harvick had a quick car. Their teammates at the very start of the day before Harvick's car got damaged. And that's one thing, too. Even if Harvick does somehow get back to the lead, it is going to be a near miracle for him to actually be able to hold off the field with this damaged race car, because we obviously know it is slow single car speed now, where he did qualify on the pole and had some single car speed beforehand. Still drafting Corey Haynes in the 117 car. They're becoming good friends. The only reason this was really possible is because of that stack up on the restart. David Green blocking off Ron Hornaday. Corey Haynes gonna go underneath of the 2 car. Harvick gonna follow him on the inside. Heck, if the bottom's open, I think Harvick's just willing to follow Corey Haynes. See if Hornaday can latch onto the 21 of Harvick. On the back straightaway, Harvick is starting to lose Haynes. Yeah, he's lost him. Oh, no, maybe not yet. He's clinging on barely. He's trying. Hornaday's not behind him anymore. It's going to make it even harder. Oh, it looks like Harvick's going to have to draft behind his teammate Ron Hornaday. Surprised he was able to hang on as long as he did. Still got his teammate. Wasn't going to work with him originally. I guess he might as well now. There's a slow car trying to limp their way to pit road right now. That pit window to the end is going to open up here about 10-15 laps, so let's see some guys try to short pit in case we get another yellow. Thanks, Michael, but it's a little late. The L3 button there. I didn't get to watch the preseason game because I was in Indy, so I don't even know how Jordan Liv did. So I don't really have like a take on him playing level. Is that Boyer in the number 2, or is it? No, it's Ron Hornaday. Boyer drove the 2 car. I believe he drove it starting in 04. Maybe it was 05, I guess. I mean, the game has to be right with the driver lineup, you would think. So it's 2004 video game, so 2005 is probably when Boyer took over the 2. Won a championship in the Busch Series. I think a lot of people forget he has an Xfinity title. Well, Harvick got shot out of a cannon into turn 1. Yeah, I'll take that. Gets in front of Hornaday and Corey Haynes. He's going to have to be aggressive, making passes and hoping he can click on to somebody else in front of him. Tiny Buchanan. That's a racing name. Gives me those Tiny Lund vibes. It's like a 1950s racer name. Tiny Buchanan. Or like every driver was called by their nickname. Got somebody else blowing an engine down the back straightaway right now. He's about to. Leader's about to get to him here. Harvick's within 8.5 seconds off the lead. He gets a little loose off in turn 2, but he stays in the gas. Very fortunate these guys are side by side. Right in front of him. Harvick doesn't want to, but I think he's going to have to take a risk if he's going to want a shot to win this race and have to go fuel only on the final stop. And I don't think he's going to pit unless everybody around him pits. Or the leaders pit, one or the other. Just try to get in front of like Matt Kenseth and Dale Jr. Those faster cars up there. He's not far outside the top 20. He's up to 25th. Restarted back in 42nd. With a damaged car from not one but 2 accidents. Survived with a spin through the grass in the last one, so that really wasn't a lot of contact. A lot of the damage really came from the back of the Paul Menard car. Unfortunately, the RCR teammates got together down the back straightaway. Harvick was just trying to draft with Menard. Menard checked up behind a car coming out of the pits, which was Bobby Hamilton Jr., and Harvick just ran right in the back of Menard. Harvick with a move underneath David Green. Buchanan got around him the corner before. Harvick the draft with him now, trying to get his way through the field. These laps are counting down pretty quickly. Again, we've had 2 yellows, but when you're trying to run the field down from behind, the laps tend to tip a little bit quicker. It's around the 83 car. He's up to 23rd. Just past Manny Brown for position. Tim Feeder was up here. Oh, that slow car's on the outside again. Oh, he's holding up the field. Harvick's up to 20th, but now he's going to lose this lead pack and split this group in 2. I don't know who that is, but they need to get off the track. He did that on the restart, and now he did it right there as well. Harvick going to purposely give up the bottom. Try to drop in line now behind the 106 car. That will be Wally Renshaw in the 106. We know Harvick's not a good lead car with this damage. He's going to have to work with Renshaw. Kenseth's led a lot of laps now as we're past halfway. Still 1 pit stop to the end. If he can get within 4 seconds of the lead, fuel only should get him out in the lead, or at least right there with the leaders. He had a lot of time coming to pit road last time without locking the tires up too. That's a big thing. Because if he locks the tires up, he's not going to be able to go no fuel. Or sorry, no tires. And he'll have to take tires, which will slow his stop up, especially with the damage. And he might actually lose time rather than flatline. I mean, you can tell me Jordan loves stats. It's just preseason, so I mean, it doesn't matter at the end of the day. Didn't he have a rough game from what I heard? Oh, Harvick was closing in. Richards caught the back of that pack, and Harvick lost him. Harvick may have to let the next car by him and try it again. He's going to make it quick. That's Tiny Buchanan in the 113. Harvick was working well with Tiny. Definitely can't waste time doing it. Next man up. Coming to 39 laps to go. And even if Harvick doesn't win this race, he needs to get a good finish. Bobby Hamilton Jr. was having a little bit of problems earlier, but Kyle Busch is likely in the top 5 still. It comes in with a narrow points lead over Harvick anyway. Last thing Harvick wants to do is be, say, minus 100 back because he finishes outside the top 15 and Busch, finishes top 3. I don't think Kyle's led any laps yet. At least Harvick led a few laps early in the race. Get 5 bonus points. I believe Dale Jr.'s led the most. If not, Kenseth's getting close because he's led for a while. Harvick trying to stay with Tiny Buchanan. Big run down the back straightaway for Kevin Harvick into turn 3. Might have made the move too early. Got Nick Richardson in the 112 car up there, but I don't think Harvick's close enough to get a draft off of him. Yeah, the move was made just a tad early there for Kevin Harvick. He'll let Buchanan back by him again. Have to keep an eye on the track map for that slow car again. I see him kind of logging around turns 3 and 4. He's just making his way off turn 4. Oh, Harvick got really loose off turn 2. Oh, that's going to kill his momentum. Going to try to let Buchanan go on the outside. Buchanan had to check up too, though. Pit window's open. I'm surprised nobody's pit yet. Oh, Fido almost got into the left rear of Buchanan. Both cars going to go low into the tri-oval. Mistake by Harvick. He wanted to let Buchanan by. He didn't want to get into the wall and slow himself down even more. He wants to be able to stick with Buchanan. He does have Tim Fido behind him. That'll help. Try to stay with the 113 who doesn't have any help in front of him. Try and pull away from Harvick. But the damage might be enough to do it. Oh, 12 for 17, 122 yards touchdown. That's pretty good. It's against a bunch of like second and third string guys, so it doesn't mean anything again. You just don't want him to suck in the preseason, because if you suck in the preseason against a bunch of other second and third string guys, then that might be worrying, considering that they're wanting. I mean, it looks like they're hoping Love will be the guy for the future, so you want him to pan out for that sake. Back to about 8 seconds off the lead again. Buchanan and Harvick. Harvick was as high as 20th in this comeback from 42nd. And now we have a bunch of cars hitting pit road. Oh, okay, never mind. Not quite a bunch. 3 cars hit pit road with 35 laps to go. Here in the Winn-Dixie 250 at Daytona. Under the lights. What can Kevin Harvick do? And that slow car now all of a sudden is right in front of Matt Kenseth. Will likely slow the leaders down. Harvick's starting to lose Buchanan, it looks like, down the back straightaway. He's trying to stay with him. And it looks like he will. He'll cling on. And now he'll make the move underneath Buchanan, who really pinched Harvick down. I think he realized Harvick had that big of a run underneath him. Richardson in the 112 right there. Less than 7 seconds off the lead. More cars coming out of the pits. Oh, he got into the left rear of Richardson. I don't know. Harvick must have just had a big run. It's almost like Richardson checked up. Buchanan gets by. Much higher rated speed. Hopefully Harvick can at least stick with him. Kenseth still hasn't pit yet, so Harvick doesn't want to pit either. It's got obviously the best track position, probably why he's not wanting to pit. As long as he's got drafting help, he's still going to go with it. Oh, yep. Slow car on the outside, stacking them up. With that stack up, Harvick's going to lose more drafting help again. Gains a couple spots out of it, but at what cost? Oh, yeah. Tom Grossi. I know who he is. And watching Packcast. It's actually pretty cool to find somebody like that as a Packers fan because definitely helps me keep up to date with Green Bay. It's crazy how much his YouTube channel's grown so quickly too. Yeah, I've been subscribed to him for a couple years now. I think it was like midway through the 2019 season. Well, again, Tiny Buchanan gets by Kevin Harvick. There is nobody else other than Buchanan right around the 21 car. Harvick about 8.4 seconds off the lead again, and there comes Matt Kenseth. Kenseth into the pits. Dale Jr. will stay out of the pits, though, so Harvick's going to stay out. Jr.'s got a fast car, too. They're getting quick. Harvick at times could still be a good push car. I don't know. Harvick's going to take a big swing here. Ever in his streams, yes or no? Very rarely I'm in his streams. Mainly because I'm streaming at night. And, you know, if he does anything, it's usually at night. I wouldn't be in the chat. I like on almost any stream, I very rarely chat. It's just because I like to listen, though. Especially with like the NASCAR Weekly podcast, I try to listen on everything. Oh, little contact up there. Harvick is about 5.5 seconds off the lead. Underneath Tiny Buchanan. It's about the third time, I believe, he's made the move too early, though, to make the pass. Dale Jr. coming into the pits. So David Stremme gonna be the driver to stay out. Harvick is cutting it close. He can't speed. Oh, he locked the tires up. He locked the tires up, trying not to speed onto pit road. He did pass a couple cars. He's still not going to take tires. Fuel only stop with 29 laps to go here at Daytona in the NASCAR Busch Series. No mistakes on pit road. 8.6 seconds. Oh, come on. I don't know how much time that cost us. Harvick is cycled ahead of Dale Jr. Oh, this is unbelievable. Room on the racetrack for Kevin Harvick as well to blend in. He's all by himself, and here comes Matt Kenseth. Harvick on older tires with a comeback from 42nd on the last restart. Saw Junior pit. That was his time. He didn't pit with Kenseth. He pitted with Junior. Problem is, everybody's got fresh tires. Harvick's going to have old tires, and by the end of the race, they're going to be over 50 laps old. Paul Menard leads the race. He still has to pit. And will we stay green to the end as well? Harvick's going to have a hard time with the handling of his car. It's not bad now, Compared to everybody else, though, it's not as good as theirs. And I'm sure by the time that checkered flag flies tonight, if he makes it to the checkered flag, that'll be the case too. Oh, David Stremme is actually going to be the leader. Unless Harvick can get around him on the high side into turn 3. Stremme stayed out a little bit longer, and he kind of cycles through. Oh, big block by Kevin Harvick on Dale Jr. And he's going to draft with Stremme. Stremme still trying to get up to speed. He was able to hold Harvick off. Harvick couldn't hold the outside on those older tires. Harvick going to shoot the gap into turn 1. He wrecked trying to do that earlier, and now he's on older tires, but he makes the move. All clear. And here comes that slower lap car, who is going to stay on the high side. That's Jared Holmes. Harvick underneath him with ease. And the rest of the field gets stacked up behind. Junior to the eventual second place. Now where will Paul Menard cycle off of pit road? The top 3 are in. Somebody behind Junior also broke away. Now there's somebody blowing an engine. That's the 152 car. Trying to limp his way to pit road. Somebody else is. We got two drivers blowing an engine simultaneously. Paul Menard is coming off the pit lane as we speak. And can you believe this comeback? There's Buchanan. There's Menard. Harvick leads. And we're only going to have 25 to go this time by. And, well, the red front's in the yellow already. And we still got 26 to go. Oh, my goodness. This is going to be a handful. Oh, Hamilton clips Harvick, and into the wall goes Hamilton. I must have just mistimed it. I think Greg Biffle escaped, and he's up to second. Now we got 25 to go. Official lead change at the line there. Harvick leads here at Daytona. And Biffle is in second. Looks like Kyle Busch followed him. That really stacked up most of the field. And now we got a 3-car breakaway for the moment. I have not met any drivers person. Well, I actually ran into Matt DiBenedetto this weekend, but I was like, hey, good luck today, Dibby. And he had to have heard me because I said it pretty loud. There were a couple people that turned around, so they had to have heard me. And he wasn't too much further away from those people. And he just kind of kept walking. He looked a little upset. I'm not going to lie. He looked like he had like a sad face. I don't know what happened. Somebody must have told him something. But, yeah, all I said was good luck, and I got nothing. He didn't even glance over or, like, look around and see who said it. I was a little disappointed because I was like, man, he had to have heard that. Oh, Greg Biffle going to get the run on the high side. Harvick tried to side draft him. He had no chance with the damage once Biffle got alongside of him. Oh, Biffle tried to block, though. I guess he wasn't clear. Harvick back underneath him again. He just doesn't have the horsepower or the tires. And Greg Biffle leads at Daytona. Place where he got his first career NASCAR Cup Series win in his rookie season in 2003. Trying to win a Busch race. At that same racetrack and under the lights as well, just like he won his first Cup Series race. Does Harvick have the car, not only with the damage, but with the tires also, to get back around? And now he's got to run down the back straightaway. Biffle going to try to run low. Harvick goes lower. Blends back into the racetrack. Into 3. Harvick back to the lead. What a move. And the field starting to stack up behind once again. Off of turn 4. Big block by Harvick. Barely cleared Biffle. Bottom open for Bobby Hamilton Jr. And Bobby Hamilton going to get to the lead. He's got some damage on the back of his car still. He can't be that fast either. As the lead car, at least. I know Matty D's not the 21 car, but he can't be sad at the racetrack every weekend. You gotta stay positive. He's known that for a couple weeks now. I was a little disappointed. I was hoping he'd at least glance over and acknowledge me. He didn't even acknowledge me. Did Matt DiBenedetto just big time me? Even Winval didn't big time me this weekend. Well, that's not. I mean, Winval's a nice guy. I got to talk to him for a little bit this weekend. Saw him in line for food when I was in. Well, I saw him eating his food while I was in line. Said I appreciated the channel. I was like, hey, thanks, man. Look at Kenny Wallace trying to get the Daytona sweep. Won the season opener here. And he's in third right now. Dale Jr. back to fourth. Bobby Hamilton trying to pull away. Harvick not going to let that happen. Hamilton got way too far out ahead of the pack. And now here comes the 21 to the inside. Harvick is going to shoot back to the lead in turn 3. And he's going to go up the track to block. Not going to leave the door open on the bottom for Kenny Wallace like he did with Bobby Hamilton Jr. And now he tries to control the lanes again. Greg Biffle trying the middle. 20 to go for Harvick as he leads at Daytona. I mean, what a comeback, and this should just be incredible of itself. Not only the spin and win, to be put back in traffic, but to come back and be on old tires trying to hold off the field. Hamilton again to the lead. Almost contact between Kenny Wallace and Dale Jr. Kens it to the inside as they were 3 wide off 2. And again, another run for Harvick into 3. Hamilton couldn't block it. But can Harvick clear this time? Oh boy, he made contact and he's in the lead anyway. I thought they were both going into the wall. Hamilton fighting back to the corner panel. Harvick leads at the line. I don't think these guys are going to... Oh boy, they touch again. There is no way these guys are going to make it to the end without the big one. We have not seen the big one today. We've seen 2 accidents, no big one. Oh, and there it is, down the back straightaway. Harvick pitched Biffle into the wall. Very fortunate. I think there was only the 2 involved. Somehow everybody behind checked up in time. Oh, man. How was that not a big wreck? How was only the 2 cars involved right there? Of Harvick and Biffle. Harvick's car is just going to get slower and slower with every bit of damage. Oh my goodness. Bobby Hamilton Jr. was in the lead at the time of the caution. Dale Jr. was second. Harvick and Biffle will keep their spots in third and fifth, I believe. Kenseth's in fourth. Green flag back in the air again. Harvick needs to get the launch on the restart. How did he do that with damage? He hasn't been like this on the restarts all day. Bobby Hamilton's got damage of his own. That might have been the only reason why he was able to get to the lead. And Kevin Harvick is back in front at Daytona. How did he get the restart with all the damage on his car, more added after the last accident? He'll be coming to 14 to go this time. Oh boy, Junior peeking on the inside. He's there. Harvick couldn't hold on. Kenny Wallace to second now. Kenny Wallace might try to look for the lead. Hopefully Biffle's not a rival with Harvick after that contact. I really hope not. It was an accident. Didn't mean to. Kenny Wallace going for the lead. He's not drafted behind Junior to pull away. And the leaders are right there. Wallace is clear. Kenny Wallace is clear. And Wallace is going to lead at Daytona again. Harvick, that last bit of damage might have done him in. He can't keep up with the top 2. He's trying to fend everybody off for third on back. That Blue Castleberry in the top 5. The 138 car. It's a two-car breakaway now. Will we get another caution? Harvick going to block Hamilton again. Hamilton goes a little wide into turn one. Harvick purposely going to go wide. He's going to try to let one car underneath him. That will be Kyle Busch. Oh, Kenseth's going to follow, though. That's not what Harvick wanted. Harvick wants to draft. Kenseth's going to maybe get underneath Kyle Busch down the back straightaway. Harvick wants to share draft. Kenseth underneath Busch. Kenseth's going to clear Kyle Busch. Can the pack catch the leaders? Kyle Busch might be able to cross Kenseth over into turn one with Harvick behind him. I don't know how this 21 car isn't killed yet. Busch slides back in front of the 17 again. These guys are second and a half off the lead. As long as Harvick's not the lead car, they should catch him. Oh, Harvick is losing him now. Now they're pulling away from him. Definitely risky. Oh, he's got his teammate, Paul Menard. Menard in the mix. Hamilton going to block him, though. Kenseth and Kyle Busch crossing each other over again. Hamilton to the outside with a run off of turn two. Remember, Harvick still has older tires as well on top of the damage. Harvick all clear down low. 3 wide behind him out of his rear view. I think that's Hermie Sadler up to 7th place. Where's he been all day? Ten laps to go. Kenny Wallace leads at Daytona in the Winn-Dixie 250. Harvick's back to 2 seconds off the lead in 6th. Trying to draft behind Bobby Hamilton Jr. Top 3 in the point standings, running 4th, 5th, and 6th. Not sure where Hornaday's at all in this. Last we saw of him, he was right around 20th earlier. Not sure if he has made his way through most of the pack or not yet. Harvick has to stay on that 25 car, but he gets a little wiggly in 3 and 4 on the old tires. Barely keeps it off the wall. It's got to be frustrating for Harvick. He just can't keep up with these guys. Once they cling on to a car in front of them, they just pull away. Harvick's got too much damage. He's going to have to give up the bottom again. Let Hermie Sadler in the 0-2 go. Will that 3-car group catch the top 2? And can Harvick get back in contention again? Tires and the damage have finally caught up with the 21. I think that last accident did him in. He was barely surviving before that. Now it's just a little too much. It's still not over, but he can't lose the draft too many more times. He's going to have to try to time it out right this time. He's trying to lift and stall a little bit of the momentum out now behind Hermie Sadler. He's got to try not to wiggle as much as he can in the middle of the corners. That's what costs him. He got a little loose off turn 4. It's just so hard with these old tires. This was the strategy he chose. Not done yet. He's still hanging on with Hermie Sadler. He's still with him. Top five are starting to get bunched together again. Down the back straightaway. Harvick never lost Sadler that time. Problem is Sadler staying up high. They're not gaining a whole lot of ground with it. Everybody else in this entire race has ran the bottom. But Harvick's been trying to share a draft with him, but Hermie Sadler wants to run the outside for some reason. Harvick going to try to lead Sadler down to the bottom. There we go. Now Hermie runs the inside. Harvick seems to lose him a little bit off 4, and then he takes the entire front stretch to try and catch back up to him again. And that's where he's lost pretty much everybody at this point. Five laps to go here at Daytona in the Winn-Dixie 250. One last charge for the 21. As he tries to work with Hermie Sadler in the 0-2. They're a second and a half off the lead. Trying to catch the big group of cars in front of him. Harvick trying to hold the wheel as steady as he can. Slides up the track a little bit off turn 4 again. Sadler starting to catch the group ahead of him. Led by Kyle Busch. Opportunity for Harvick. Oh, no! Sadler pinched Harvick. Harvick thought he was close enough to Kyle Busch. He makes the pass on Hermie Sadler, but Sadler chopped him off with a block, and he wasn't clear, and that stalled the momentum of both cars. That might have been the last chance. 3 to go, this time by. I think Harvick has lost Hermie Sadler now. Harvick couldn't even clear the 0-2, at least for the 6th position at that point. Well, Harvick's not letting anybody else through at this point. It is kind of far gone to win the race, and he needs to protect all the points he can. Unfortunately, he sacrificed a couple points trying to do what he did, but fortunately it didn't work. Well, now the right front's in the red, as if the handling wasn't bad enough, and he's sliding around. Now for 2.5 laps, he's trying to hold off a hungry pack of cars. We know Dwayne Borland is fast. Led a decent amount of laps very early in the race. Will they make it back to the checker? Oh boy. Close call with Menard. A lot of Cup regulars back here as well. Paul Menard, Mark Martin, Greg Biffle. White flag, 1 lap to go for Kenny Wallace to try and get the Daytona sweep. Can he fend off Dale Jr. 2 Daytona races in a row? Harvick's doing a great job, at least holding on for 7th. Really all he can do. Only make it back. No cautions on the final lap. Still a much better finish if Harvick can bring this home than what he had in the season opener at Daytona. What a comeback from 42nd. He didn't. He got to the lead briefly. That last bit of damage did him in, though. Older tires just kept getting even older as well on this old surface at Daytona. Checkered flag in the air. Kenny Wallace wins the Winn-Dixie 250. Harvick almost lost 7th place to Mark Martin there at the finish. If it would have been Talladega, he probably would have. Kenny Wallace has just won his 2nd race of the season, both at Daytona. Kenny Wallace, like the Busch Series restrictor play king in this game. Man, oh man. 4.5 seconds off the lead. Top 5 are under a blanket. We'll take a look at the finishing results. Kenny Wallace with the win, leading 14 laps. Dale Jr. led 28 laps, finishing 2nd. Matt Kenseth, 24 laps led, finishing 3rd. Bobby Hamilton Jr. led some laps, finishing 4th. And Kyle Busch rounds out the top 5. Points leader did not get any bonus points. He did not lead a lap. Hermie Sadler, 6th. Kevin Harvick got some bonus points and finished 7th. So it looks like Kyle Busch is barely going to gain points on Harvick, but he still will open up that gap a little bit. Mark Martin, after starting 41st, finishes in 8th. 9th was Dwayne Borland, and Ashton Lewis rounds out the top 10. And I believe Dale Jr. would have had the most laps, led with 28. 22 lead changes in this 100-lap race. 3 cautions for 9 caution laps. What a topsy-turvy race. We started on the pole. We led laps early. And then we wrecked on our own, losing track position. Just spun out going into 1. Just cut the corner too deep trying to get around Junior for the lead. Spun. Luckily, nobody hit us, but we did damage the left side of the car a little bit. Then we lost lost the draft on the restart after that, after having to repair the damage on pit road. Got to the green flag pit stops, was about 12 seconds off the lead, about 4 seconds behind the rest of the pack. Went fuel only, and then we ended up cutting into about 15th place or so, got involved in another accident, had to go to the back a second time, restarted 42nd again with about, 39 laps to go, or no, it was a little more than that. I think we had about half the race left, 51 laps to go, and cut back up to about 12th place or so. Got to pit road, cycled out as a leader, led for a few laps, battled for the lead for a few laps, back and forth with Bobby Hamilton Jr., and then unfortunately got tangled up with Greg Biffle down the back straightaway. 2-car accident. Restarted 3rd. Jumped the restart. Got to the lead with about 14 laps to go. Lost the lead. Kenny Walsdale Jr. started drafting each other, pulling away. Tried to let guys go to draft behind him. We would close in, but then we would lose the draft when they caught the leaders. And ended up being a 5-car group there at the end. We were holding everybody off in 7th. Hermie Sadler was all by himself. What a roller coaster of a race. And it was only 100 laps. But, it felt longer with just the amount of chaos we had and having to fight through the adversity just to get a top 10. And not only get a top 10, but just to finish the race itself. Jose Sanchez, welcome to the stream. This game looks nice. It is a very cool game. We'll take a look at the point standings coming up. Race 19 will be tomorrow on the channel. We'll do another doubleheader tomorrow. I don't work Thursdays, so it'll be another afternoon race like today. And our next race is at Chicagoland. The Twister 300, 200 laps on that 1.5-mile tri-oval. Point standings are gapped. I believe we were 8 points back going into the race. We lost 4 points. We lost 2 positions, but we had 5 bonus points versus Kyle Busch's 0 bonus points. And Bobby Hamilton Jr. beat both of us, closing in on Kyle Busch, of course, as well. So the top 3 are within 70 points with 16 races to go. It is going to be an absolute barn burner of a championship run here to the finish with these three. Ron Hornaday is fourth, 202 back. Can't count him out though. David Stremme, 5 points back. And you could score 190 points in a race. So they're a little over a race worth of points out, but not all that far back. J.J. Ailey survived the day. He ends up sixth in points. Kenny Wallace, after getting his second win, is up to seventh in points, and big gap back to Dwayne Borland, but he's been running strong. I'd say the top eight are still in championship contention right now. David Green on back. It's nearly impossible considering how many cars are still in between him and Kyle Busch on top of the points itself. So, yeah, the gameplay is great. Not really any flaws with it for the most part. Okay, that is going to be it here for this one. NASCAR Heat 5 Career Mode will continue, later on this evening at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll run Sonoma for the NASCAR Heat 5 Career Mode, and that should be a lot of fun, our first road course race of the season. Like, share, and subscribe once again, and I'll see you guys in about 2.5 hours.